All right, guys, welcome back to another S2 Dryfire Friday. Hopefully you've had a great week. Today, we're going to be working on a combative drill, meaning a fighting drill. Now, I know most of the time when we look at dry-fire training, it often gets focused on fundamentals of marksmanship or on pistol manipulations, and that's important stuff. We have to put time into that as well. But dry-fire training allows us to go and do things that we can't do on the flat range. So it's important to apply it into a whole bunch of different venues. So today we're going to focus on a fighting drill. Now, majority of the people who are watching videos here on the S2 Strategic Defense channel, you guys are martial artists, you guys are self-defense people, you're concealed carry. At the bottom line, we're citizen defenders, right? And so for the folks who are concealed carry, why did you elect to be concealed carry? Well, most of us are going to say the same kind of thing. I want to be able to utilize my firearm to be able to best protect myself in the unfortunate event that violence finds us. I want to defend myself, my family, my home. Got it. And yet the far majority of people that I run into that are involved in the firearms community aren't training on how to fight, let alone training how to fight with their gun. So today we're going to work on a combatives drill. Today's training, we are going to be working off of the floor. Now, this is information that comes from my DCP manual, and it's called the Stand Up or Get Up series. The Stand Up series is designed to help people understand how to navigate being on the floor and get them back up to their feet as quickly as possible. We've all seen a variety of different self-defense encounters, whether it's law enforcement or civilian, armed or not armed, where people end up on the floor. They might have gotten thrown, tripped, pummeled, slipped. Doesn't make a difference, but either way, when you're on the floor, your number one priority is to be able to get back up to your feet. Today, we are working with what I call position number one. Position number one refers to you being flat on your back, not entangled with the other person. How you ended up there doesn't make a difference. You might have slipped, you might have gotten thrown, doesn't make a difference. The bad guy's still vertical and on his feet, and you are flat on your back. That's a problematic area to be in. He is perfectly mobile. He can stomp, he can kick, he can strike, he can run, he can do all kinds of things, and you're on the floor. We have to be able to get back to our feet. Now, I do understand that a lot of times if the threat requires it, if the circumstances are correct, we will take shots from the floor. So you guys might have seen this before, where we are pinned flat to the floor, we draw the pistol, we put our knees up, we extend past our knees, and take shots from there. Perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that if the circumstances dictate that. However, I still prefer you guys to get back to your feet. So you got to get back to your feet at some point in time, whether it's take the shots, then get up, or get up and then take the shots. Either way, we still got to work our way back up north. So let's talk about how to get back to our feet safely and effectively in a self-defense encounter. Now, I want you to know something. Human beings have a tendency that when we're coming up from a seated or from a laying down position, that we do it in a manner that brings our head forward first. And that's cool under normal circumstances, but in a self-defense encounter, that's a big no-no. You might have an attacker who's punching, pushing, swinging a baseball bat at your head. Who knows? We can't put our head into the batter's box. We have to do it safely and effectively, not necessarily naturally. So keep that in mind. Here's a quick story about that too. Years ago, I saw a bar brawl where one guy pushed another guy off of the bar stool. And when that guy was getting off of the floor, guy who pushed him off grabbed a beer bottle off the bar top and swung it and hit the guy straight square across the face. And when that guy went out, this guy's buddies jumped all over him, started stomping on him and punching him and kicking him. It was a melee. You don't want to be that guy, okay? So remember this. Keep your head out of the batter's box as often as possible. So let's talk about how to get up safely and effectively. We're going to start off in this flat laying down position. Now, this is a terrible place to be, okay? The first thing that we want to do is try to roll to one hip and one shoulder. I don't care which side. For you guys, for this video, I'll just go to my left side here. So I'm on my left hip and my left shoulder. This prevents anybody from mounting on top of me and pushing both shoulders down where I don't have mobility in my upper body or my legs, okay? So I move to one hip and one shoulder. I use the opposite side arm. So I'm on my left hip, so I'm gonna use my right arm, okay? And I'm gonna kind of hover it over in front of my face to be able to protect the head just in case. From here, I'm gonna do kind of a sideways crunch, and I'm gonna move to one elbow. At the same time as I do that, you see how my right knee went up. Okay, so the right side's guarding, the left side is gonna help me get some base, some balance in this thing. All right, so keep that in mind. And if I went to my right hip, it would just be mirror image. Okay, so flat from my back, I roll to one hip and one shoulder, the other hand covers over my head. I do kind of a sideways sit-up over here. I get to one elbow, I scoot underneath it, and I get onto my hand, okay? Now I want you guys to notice something here. This arm is kind of on the inside of my right inner thigh, okay? Why is that happening? Well, that gives me some structure to help protect myself, hide my head behind it if I need to, push off if I absolutely have to. And then the second thing I want you to notice is the left leg. The left leg has stayed flat to the floor so far. Why? Because that allows me to use it for kicking, distancing, pushing stuff off. So we use that as our probe, okay? So let's go from the top again. Flat to my back, I roll to one side, one hip and one shoulder. I use the opposite arm to protect over my head. I do a sideways sit-up to get up to my elbow. I scoot under it a little bit, and I get to my hand from here, okay? And so this is what we call our combat base, all right? So I can move from here to a certain degree. I can push people off. I can kick from here. It's not a great position. It's just certainly better than where I was just a second ago, okay? Now this is where things get a little bit easier, but it takes a little bit of time to get used to it. First thing I want you to understand is that this foot, my right foot, is down on the floor, and that's gonna help me prop up, okay? So I'm gonna prop up over here, just a couple inches. When I create that space between my body and the floor, I'm gonna use my left leg and I'm gonna drag it out from underneath. So I prop up, and then I'm up. Let me give you guys another view of that. I started off flat on my back, I turn to my side, I use my arm to cover my head, I pin one foot down. I do kind of a sideways sit-up, I get back onto one elbow, tuck under, get onto one hip, okay? And then I make space and I drag one leg from underneath it, okay? I'll do that for you guys again. Flat on my back, roll to one hip, cover my head, pin one foot. I get onto one elbow, I kind of slide and get under my hand over here, create space, and then I'm back up. And you can see I'm striking position if need be. All right, so we are now back to our feet and in our standing position. Now real quick, there's probably a couple people who are gonna watch that and say, hey Nick, you know, I'm a little bit out of shape, I can't do that. Or I got an injury and I can't do that. I got a bad knee or I got a bad shoulder, and I get it, okay? But let me give you a little bit of insight. 3 days ago, I threw my back out. As of this filming right now, it takes me about 3 to 5 minutes just to put socks and shoes on every single morning, okay? So if I can do this, then you can do this. And once those injuries kind of go away, we can get more effective and more efficient at doing that. Not a big deal. And if you have to modify something for yourself, do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But understand the concept on how to go from the floor back up to your feet, okay? All right, so moving on. We're now in our standing position. That allows us to push off if we have to, we can strike if we have to, and we can also get to our gun if we have to. But before we do any of that, the first thing that I want you guys to do is start getting on the move. Don't be on the X, right? Get off of the X. Well, the X is pretty big, but we can still start moving, okay? So when you guys get back to your feet, I want you to start scanning the area or seeing where your threat's at and repositioning. So move left, move right, and if you guys are going for your firearm, draw it at the same time as doing that. So going from a standing position, if I was gonna get to here, the first thing I would do is I would start moving and then draw my pistol, okay? What I don't want to do is sit still on the same place that the attack just happened and I just got back up, hoping that this guy doesn't take me back down, all right? So start getting your feet in order, start moving around, okay? Once you guys get that firearm out and you're moving around, I want you to stay moving for as long as you have to until you get a good angle on your target, extend, and press, okay? And so when we put this in a series, the first thing I want you guys to do is spend a little bit of time on learning the process of getting up, right side and left side, and get like 100 reps of each one. At first, unnatural. Once you guys get it, you'll always have it. So practice that. Then get up and start moving. Just keep your hands up, okay? Just start moving. Take a look and see what's happening around you. That's set number 2. Set number 3 is get up, and once you guys are up, start moving and draw your pistol and find your target and start to press.
All right, guys, so that's the lesson for today. I want you guys to work that process of getting off of the floor and then exploring what your options are. Whether you're moving to your pistol, whether you're just pushing off, whether you're striking, whether you're putting some track and field on, it's all good, but you first have to be able to get off of the floor safely and effectively. So have fun with that, make your training dynamic, train often, train smart. And if you guys like these kinds of lessons where we're talking more about the fighting aspects of things, let me know in the comments section. And also make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and that'll give me an idea that you guys want more of these lessons. All right, guys, be safe, be well. I'll see you guys on the next video.